Hi, welcome to Rivetea. Welcome back if you've been here before. I'm Long Hair Linda, and today we are going to be talking about Basketball Wives, Season 10, Episode 15, and it's called Oh, You Want Smoke? Now, I just want to take a very quick second to apologize about the last Basketball Wives recap video. I had some issues with copywriting with YouTube, so I had to take out some of the fashion clips in particular that I'd put in to talk about the ladies' outfits during Brooke's party. So if it looks a tiny bit choppy around that area, then please forgive. But yeah, so apologies, and the rest of the video is still there though, and you still get all the rest of the recap, so hopefully it's not too bad. But anyway, on to this recap. So like I said, we are talking about season 10 episode 15, and let's go. So we open up with Duffey and Brandy boxing in the gym. Duffey says that she's known Brandy since she was 15 and has always admired her, especially after marrying a basketball player. Is that a thing to admire someone over? The ladies catch up on the party for Brooke, and Brandy talks about how much of a big deal Jackie made about her and Malaysia sitting down and talking at the party, and the fact that Malaysia asked if Brandy had been speaking to her ex, resulting in the cease and desist, if you remember. When Duffey doesn't make a big deal out of it, Brandy says she's the punching bag that she starts hitting. So you were looking for Duffey to do what? Say mean things about Malaysia? What were you looking for here, Brandy? Brandy tells us in her confessional that she doesn't really know where her and Malaysia are right now after all the ups and downs. Brandy wants to know when Duffey is going to walk down the aisle, and Duffey says she's getting herself and her relationship right. So apparently Iman and Duffey have been together for about 7 years now, and Brandy's like, he's ready. And Duffey says, you know what she's seen Brooke go through with this whole divorce thing makes her realise that she is in fact lucky. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, so it looks like Duffey is the one that's holding up the nuptials right now. What's interesting is that usually it's the other way around. And at least in sort of reality shows, what we're normally used to seeing with women who marry very successful men or who are about to marry very successful men, it's like they're trying to rush to get to that aisle. But it's interesting seeing that it's actually Duffey that's holding things up. She does mention at some point that she's been married before. She mentioned it last episode as well, and that she was divorced. So I guess it definitely makes sense that she's more cautious this time around. I don't really blame her at all. Duffey is planning a little date night to show her appreciation of Iman, and she says, you never know what might happen, maybe another baby. Now, I know that they already have a baby together, but it's funny that, not necessarily about her particularly, but people who think like her, who are very, very cautious about walking down the aisle, who want to make sure that everything is 100% right before they get married. But you realise that children are literally a lifelong commitment. I've never understood the mentality that getting married is this huge deal, but having children with someone isn't. Like, yeah, you can break up and all that kind of stuff, but it's like, but you're stuck with that person for the rest of your life. So if you're not ready to marry them, I don't know if having kids with them is smart. Maybe that's just me, but I digress. Brooke is visiting her dad, Reginald, whose opinion means everything to her. Reginald wants to know what's going on, and Brooke tells him that her husband is willing to do anything to save the marriage. Reginald says, stuff is going to happen in a marriage, so if one drops the ball one time, it might not be time to throw the towel in. Brooke isn't sure that she can get back to a place of loving him like a wife is supposed to, and that is a great reason to end the marriage. Look, I'm not the type that's like, oh, break up with them. Like, well, actually I am. Break up with them if shit's wrong, if stuff is wrong. But I think that if it's just like a relationship and it's not working out, break up with them. If you are married, you have taken some vows, right? So sometimes it's not as easy as all that, and you should probably exhaust every option before you get to the point of divorce. However, if you feel like you cannot love that person as a spouse is supposed to, then it is time to end it. And you're suffering and they're suffering, just end it. That's my opinion, and it looks like Brooke is feeling kind of like that for her own situation. Now, Reginald says that infidelity screws up everything, as Brooke tells us that she's a love child. Now, a love child is a nice way of saying outside baby. So it turns out that Reginald was married and had at least one night with Brooke's mother and resulted in the birth of Brooke. I'm trying to say this in a way that's not judgmental, because this isn't me judging Brooke in any way. I don't look at her any differently. Nothing like that. It's just that I love that we've started using love child, but just in case anybody didn't know what that meant. It's also very, very interesting to me how people can make huge mistakes at points in their lives and then later on be, wise and be considered wise counsel for Brooke in this instance. Reginald did something that we would normally look at and be like, that's pretty reprehensible. But clearly the person he is now, he seems to be, at least to me and from what Brooke is saying, that, he's a very level-headed, wise man who recognizes the importance of taking accountability and also in working through things, that mistakes will happen. So it is very, very interesting whenever I see examples of, real life examples of people who have done things that maybe you'd be like, oh, and then they're actually really cool people in the end. So it just goes to show you that mistakes don't make you. Just don't keep bloody making them, please. Not the same ones anyway, for crying out loud. Anyway, Reginald says he and his wife tried to stick it out for some time after Brooke was born, but Brooke doesn't know if she's strong enough to do the same, even though she does say in this case the infidelity isn't as severe. Brooke is starting the process of removing her tattoos. She has her husband's initial on her ring finger and Miss S. Robinson on her chest or shoulder area, somewhere along here. And Brooke says her husband doesn't deserve to be tattooed on her. I would go a step further to say that no one should be tattooed on you unless they're blood, and maybe not even then. I'm not a fan of putting people's names permanently in ink. I know you can get them removed, but that's painful and expensive, so just maybe don't do it. My opinion, of course. Jackie and Duffey are shopping for sneakers, aka trainers, and Jackie asks if Duffey has heard anything or feels the same way as British does about her butting into people's business. Duffey says she only heard that from Angel, and producers cut to a flashback from 4 months ago of Angel telling Duffey that she wasn't happy about Jackie talking about her relationship with Rockstar. Jackie goes on to say that British told her that the ladies think she is bored, and Duffey laughs. Duffey tells us in her confessional that she wishes British hadn't said anything because they will all now be paying for this. Oof. The wrath of Jackie is nothing to be played with, okay? Here goes Jackie talking about how booked and busy she is, then updates Duffey on the argument over speakerphone between Jen and Malaysia. Duffey says they'll never be friends, but Jackie wants to have, ready, a Ponderosa. Good Lord. Here we go. So for those that haven't been watching Basketball Wives from the beginning, producers do play a little flashback from 5 years ago. Holy cow, it's been 5 years since that moment. I don't know how long I've been watching this show, if it felt like it was much more recent than that, but okay, 5 years. In the flashback, Jackie explains that a Ponderosa is when a pimp gets all his hoes together and they meet on the Ponda Emeffin Rosa. That is so hard to say without swearing, can I just say? In that scene, Malaysia says she doesn't know why, but she always pictures a tree when Jackie says Ponderosa. Well, Malaysia, that is because a Ponderosa is a tall, slender North American pine tree planted for timber and as an ornamental. The Pinus ponderosa, commonly known as the Ponderosa pine, bull pine, blackjack pine, western yellow pine, or Philippinus pine, is a very large pine tree species of variable habitat native to mountainous regions of western North America. Had to get the dictionary out for that one, had to Google it, had to check what this was. Malaysia, you smart girl, you is smart. Duffey tells us in her confessional that knowing this group, this could get out of control and they really need peace. It's not possible. I love your optimism. It's not possible. It's not. Jen and British are meeting for drinks, and right away, British says, "It wasn't my fault." Obviously, talking about the blow up and the whole hanging up on Jen. Jen is livid at being hung up on, and producers cut to all the moments of drama with Malaysia, while Jen says that she has been cordial, so she does not understand what Malaysia's issue is. Jen tells British that maybe if Malaysia would be real, people would have compassion for her. British says Malaysia seems different now by trying to be more open. Jen's having none of this. So she keeps going, saying Malaysia is always saying she's going through a lot. Well, she must be because she's losing her house. So Jen is claiming some things. Clearly, this lady did not learn how Malaysia feels about the ladies bringing rumours to this group from that 90s skating ring party that ended up in an actual brawl. So these are Jen's claims, not mine. So allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. If I forget to say it in the sentence at any point, I am not claiming this as fact. Got it? Good. British wants to know if the bank took it, and Jen tells us in her confessional that she has her ears to the streets in the ATL because she owns a home there, unlike Malaysia. And the talk of the town is that she is losing her house. Jen says since Malaysia wants the smoke, she's bringing all the fire. Be careful, Jen. You might get burned. Jen says she is done with that bee. It's buried. The casket is lowered into the ground. Whew. Okay. All right. This is gonna go well. At Duffey and Iman's, Duffey says it feels good to play the homemaker role and tells Iman how much she appreciates him. She's done this whole dinner and it's so cute. Iman says that he's in a really good place now that she is home more and wants to revisit the whole wedding thing. Duffey says marriage is forever for her. Her last marriage only ended because of the other person, so they are getting closer to getting married, but they're not quite there yet. When Iman asks why she feels that way, Duffey says when she first met him, he had a fire and ambition about him that seems to have gone away now that they're together. Iman doesn't agree. He's been making money for the last 15 years. Everything in the home is taken care of by him, and it bothers him when Duffey goes on to say he could be much bigger. I will say, Duffey's approach here is a little tactless. It feels like she could have worded that a little better, especially what she goes on to say. I think it's really important that you choose your words carefully when speaking to your partner, not to do too much damage to their ego and their self-worth, because your opinion is always going to mean a lot. And I think you should just, you can have these conversations if you feel this way, but I just think there's better ways to do it. This was a bit, ugh. Duffey goes on to say that if she doesn't tell him, who is going to tell him? She wants to look at maybe starting up new ventures together because she wants to do things that will impact her family for generations, which will take multiple hustles. She's a DJ, an entrepreneur. She's now investing in properties, and she feels like he can do more on top of his career as a sports agent. Look, I get it. You're the ambitious type. There's a lot that you want to do, and sometimes it can feel really, really frustrating if your partner isn't quite doing the same or having that same kind of hustle, or has it at some times and then sometimes doesn't. I get how that can be quite frustrating. Believe me. But my issue in this case is that Iman is already very, very successful, and he just so happens to be doing a 9 to 5 in something that he loves as a sports agent, right? I'm assuming that's where his passion is. So he's managed to have the thing that he loves be his 9 to 5, and it pays him well to the point where you can afford to live in that home and he pays all the expenses and have all the things that you have and live quite a luxurious life on the face of it, funded by him, it turns out, according to his statements. So if you feel like you need to do multiple hustles and do this, this, and this, You can do it. It's not stopping you. Look at all you're doing, right? It's not stopping you from doing it. So I just think it's coming across as not very. This whole dinner was supposed to be showing how much she appreciates him, and it's not coming across as her being very grateful for the life that they have. I've got to be honest. That's just, when I was watching this, it was making me uncomfortable. I actually like Duffey, and I was just like, oh, oh. Every time she was talking about this, I just kept like wincing and cringing, and I didn't love this conversation too much. Anyway. Duffey loses me completely here when she says, I want to be up here, and if you're not up here with me because you're just being lazy, I'm not okay with that. And she also says, you think Barack would be Barack without Michelle? You think Michelle would just let Barack sit down and be average? First of all, girl, if you think being a sports agent living in a multi-million-dollar home is average, I don't know what to tell you. Okay? Look around. The average is poor. The average is literally poor. Okay? Second thing, what's Barack and Michelle got to do with this? Third thing, how do you sit up on national TV and call your man during an appreciation dinner, may I add, lazy? Girl, if you don't count your blessings or leave that man alone if that's what you want. I was furious for Iman. I was furious for him, and I don't know this man. Iman seems, like a very calm guy. Good for him. Good for him. Because Duffey was on some nonsense, honestly. He finally gets a word in edgewise and says business and marriage are two different things, and tells her that she has to stop thinking like that. Duffey goes on the defensive and asks how he wants to be her husband, but can be so quick to be dismissive of something she's expressing to him. Iman says he's not dismissing it, he just has a different opinion, and this has nothing to do with the question he asked her about getting married. So Duffey says Iman shouldn't be married if there's no correlation between money and marriage for him. This whole scene just went so left. It started so cute. The dinner that she made looked cute. The little table settings and stuff was all nice. It started off so well and ended with Duffey calling her man lazy, saying that he average, saying she's about to be up here and he's not going to be there with her. Calling him dismissive because he disagreed, saying that he shouldn't even be getting married if he thinks money and marriage, have no correlation. Sweetheart, he's obviously good with his money. He's paying for everything. And you have a lot. That man is taking care of you and your family. Now listen, if I get on a soapbox about a man, he must be coming across like a very good man. Because I am the first. The first. To be up there like, he's not doing right. He needs to do this. I am the first. This is a good man. He loves you, clearly. He wants to marry you, clearly. He has already proposed. He takes care of everything financially in the home. And he is present with you and the kids. Including the kid you came into the relationship with. Therefore, I ask you, Duffey, what was all this tonight? What was the point in all of this? Why? Brooke is at a consultation for tattoo removal, and Brandy and Duffey are there for moral support. Now, it turns out she got the first session out of the way today, and Brandy is concerned that Brooke is acting impulsively out of anger. British lets the ladies know how she got them in trouble with Jackie by telling her that everybody thinks she meddles in people's business, and that now Jackie wants to have a Ponderosa. British plays Jackie's very weird invite audio clip. Now, if I wasn't scared of a copyright claim on this video, I would play it here. Now, I would say you should be watching the episodes. Go watch the episode, okay? Just go watch it. Just go watch it. It's okay. Just go watch it. It was weird. And I need for us to all be in agreement that it was weird. Okay? It was weird. Brandy thinks it sounds like a horror movie, and Brooke is scared to have another encounter like in Palm Springs. British also fills the ladies in on Jen's tea about Malaysia's alleged foreclosure. And it was actually kind of interesting to see Brandy slyly take up for Malaysia, low-key. Like, she kind of did. She didn't, like, defend her. But she was like, ooh, if that's real, then Jen really shouldn't have brought that up to the ladies. Progress? Malaysia and Duffey are meeting up, and Malaysia says she really likes how open and chill Duffey is, unlike the other ladies who invite her out just to give her the cold shoulder. Some people might say it's a little bit of karma, because Malaysia has been known to be quite... whenever new people come around. Or people she doesn't like come around. So it's interesting to be watching in this half of the season and in the last, Malaysia kind of get a taste of her own medicine, shall we say? I'm not relishing in it. It might look like it because I'm smiling, but I'm not. The ladies do some hot yoga, then catch up on Malaysia and Brandy's conversation at Brooke's party. Duffey is hopeful that they will get to a better place, even if Brandy and Malaysia won't be best friends again. Duffey says she owes Iman an apology because she didn't express herself in the right way. Thank you! She goes on to say that her past marriage trauma has affected her thoughts on marriage now, and says in her confessional that it's not fair on her to take that out on Iman. Yes! We love a self-aware queen. Duffey is really shining through as one of my favourite castmates for Basketball Wives. I'm a fan. She has grown a lot. She has come a long way, and she is super self-aware here. So you know what? We love it. We love to see it. Malaysia says she's looking for stability for her children as she is the sole provider of her household now. She tells Duffey that she's on the right path and she has the right man. She just has to build it with him, as sometimes it takes the woman to take the lead. Now, Malaysia absolutely did drop a gem there. I think it's really, really important that we stop doing this whole gender role thing in relationships, because the gender doesn't impact who the leader is. The good leader is the one that will impact who the leader should be in the relationship. So sometimes it's one person all the time. Sometimes there are times when it's one person and then it changes, and it could depend on the circumstances, the time, what it's about. Like, we have to get out of our own way with this thinking that actually is very, very nonsensical and is part of a structure that does not benefit anybody, men, women, non-binary people. It doesn't help anybody to feel like you have to be this type of person if it goes against your nature. So if you're naturally a leader, it doesn't matter if you're a woman, as long as the person you are with is receptive to that, is open-minded, is able to take your lead in those situations and trust you, and in turn you're able to release some of that control and understand when you do need to back off a little bit and let the other person lead in certain circumstances that are more suited to them, then you're good to go. This idea that only one person can lead, or in this case as well, her thinking that because she wants to do like multiple hustles, that he has to do the same. He's already rich, hun. He's got a great job, he's happy, he's got a good career, he's making loads of money, he's supporting you all. So you have that drive right now in this moment, right? You have that thing of wanting to be a DJ, an entrepreneur, investing in businesses, doing this, doing that, investing in properties. Like, so do it. You are in such a wonderful position to have your family, your bills and your household taken care of financially, that you can focus on doing things that are a little bit more risky for that massive payoff at the end that you're going to enjoy. So take advantage of that and you go do the things you want to do, build that with him, take the lead on that, you're good to go. So I'm so impressed by Malaysia's advice there. I think it's great advice. I think Duffey is listening to her, and I think that listen, that couple's going to be great. I think they're going to be a good old power couple. I think they already are. And I think that when she's ready, when they've sought, some kind of help with that situation, they're going to do great. In my opinion. Of course, I don't know these people. I'm just going off of what I see on TV. You know. So Jackie is at a property that she is thinking of buying and flipping, and she calls her daughter Chani to take her advice on wall paint colours. Jackie talks about studying for her upcoming real estate license test and says that she thinks it's the other ladies who are bored, not her. You got it? Jackie Christie is not bored. So, quick question. What exactly were you measuring here, Jackie? Because I understood when you measured the distance from the wall with the TV on it to the middle of the room, somewhat. But what are we trying to measure here, beloved? Anyway, British is at the door, and Jackie tells her about the plans to buy and flip the home. And British tells us in her confessional, we get it, you're booked and busy, you're not bored. Jackie brings up their drinks and tells British that the reason she has to be in the business... Oh, so you admit you're in everybody's business. Got it. Great. That's not what you said that night, but it's fine. The reason she's in the business is because she is the business. Come on, Jackie, she is the business, Christy. Let's go. I'm here for it. Meaning that she is the glue that keeps these girls together. Jackie, very in her Nene Leakes era, says she will explain that to the women. She is just here to help them win. Come on, Mother Mary. British tells Jackie that Jen was upset after the phone argument, but doesn't tell Jackie about the alleged foreclosure. Jackie says they're going to have a big old conversation at the Ponderosa. God help them. So it's the night of the Ponderosa, and Jackie is decorating the venue with items from each one of her businesses, since the ladies think she is bored. I'm so here for Petty Jackie right now. So she gives us some examples of her items that she has decorated the venue with. And she says she's got her books because these bees can't read her. Blindfolds because these bees can't see her. Couture pieces because these bees ain't cut from the same cloth as her. Sorry. I love Jackie Wild Christie. Sorry. Jackie, she is the business Christie. I love her. Okay. Her fans, because she's simply too hot for these bees. You tell them, Jackie. Whew. She's also got like her cognac and a bunch of other stuff in this very weird medieval setting. It's an odd room. This whole thing was odd, and I would have genuinely been terrified walking into a place like this for a Ponderosa. Anyway, Malaysia is up first with some white roses that Jackie wanted, followed by Duffey, who tells Malaysia that she took her advice on her delivery, and producers flash to a scene between Duffey and Iman where she suggests going to premarital counselling. Yes, absolutely. Premarital counselling for everybody, please. Next is Brandy, who is uncomfortable at being at the Ponderosa, especially with all the ladies knowing all of Malaysia's information. Brooke is next and says she has mace in her bag. I know that's right. I know that's right, Brooke. And Brooke is certain on divorce and has an appointment with her lawyer and will just have to serve him after that. Cheating, Brooke says, is a deal breaker for her. Same, sis. Jen is next up and talks about being confused by the decor and says the Ponderosa looks more like a flea market. Shady Jen. Jackie had disappeared before all the ladies showed up, so if you watch this episode you know that she's like talking to Malaysia real quick, took her flowers and left, and she was like, I'll be right back, take control of the situation, Malaysia, or some stuff like that. So British takes the opportunity, while all the ladies are there except for Jackie, to ask who thinks Jackie doesn't butt in people's business. Malaysia raises her hand, and Brandy and Brooke are like, she's always in your business though. So Duffey is like, I feel like she's around here somewhere, and nods her head yes when Brooke asks if she's scared. I don't blame you, Duffey. I'd be scared of that lady too, I really would. I'm scared sometimes just watching her. I'll be like, Jackie gonna just pop up somewhere and just tell me we need a Ponderosa? Tell me she's not bored? I don't know. Jackie gets a walk-in intro, for some reason, with two security-looking dudes in suits, and Brooke says in her confessional that Jackie really thinks that she's the godmother of this group and that she has lost her goddamn mind. Let me tell you something. Jackie will give you a moment. You understand me? Jackie would never let this show ever get to any point where anyone could ever say that it's a boring show. Jackie Christie will not allow that to happen. You hear me? If the ladies are bringing it, she will make them bring it, and she will create the weirdest setting for them to do it in. Whew. Okay, let me get myself together because I'm remembering these scenes and it's cracking me up. Okay. Jackie goes on to prove that she has indeed lost her goddamn mind. Woo! By instructing her security to push her chair forward for her as she sits. Jackie is silent for a moment after sitting, then tells them that she has called this Ponderosa because she has learned that in a group of women you can't go by what one person says. That's true. She goes on to say you cannot associate Jackie Marie Christie with bored ever in your effing life. Now I'm going to read word for word what this lady said, because when I tell you Jackie Christie gave me life, she produced the hell out of this episode again, can I just say. Alright, you ready? So she said, I have a husband that's an assistant coach in the NBA. When he travels, I'm not sitting at home wondering what he's doing. I'm either on a plane flying to be with him, or I'm doing one of my 10 businesses, or the millions of people that I'm out here associating with on social media, because I've got so much going on and I'm a big celebrity. And the ladies burst out laughing just like I did. When I tell you, I rewound that so many times. And I cackled every single time. It was fantastic. It was so good. Jen says in her confessional that she thinks Jackie has a little too much time on her hands. No, you know what? That's not fair, Jen. Clearly, she is busy doing one of her many jobs in this moment right here. You know what that is? An uncredited producer. And she's doing a damn good job, okay? Talk about Jackie Christie having too much time on her hands. Look at all she's just created for us. Jackie wants to hear from everyone individually about whether they feel like she butts in their business. So she starts with Brandy, and Brandy says yes, with her relationship with Malaysia. Brooke suggests that Jackie let things happen organically after Jackie apologizes to Brandy. Jackie randomly starts to cry and says she loves them out of completely nowhere. Then immediately after saying that she would reel her meddling in, she gets right back to meddling. Of course, it's Jackie, she is the business Christie. Jackie says there are some issues that need to be resolved and starts off with Jen, saying British said with her that she felt a certain way about Malaysia. She asks whether Jen said negative things about Malaysia. Jen says yes, and Jackie wants her to say it here. Brandy is like, Jackie, and Jackie is like, no, we need to do it here. Because they do. Because say it with your chest, Jen. Bring the fire you were talking about. Jen keeps it light and doesn't have all that fire that she claimed to have with British at drinks. And Jackie is like, it will eventually be shared with the group. And Malaysia steps in to say that she would rather it not be forced. Jackie is pushing and pushing, trying to get Jen to share the thing the other ladies know, and she doesn't, to the point where she ends up yelling, open your MFing mouth and speak. Say it! Jen caves to the pressure and says that she felt it was disrespectful of Malaysia to hang up on her. Malaysia says she did that because she felt like it was going to get to a disrespectful place if she didn't. She respects Jen's choice not to F with her, so Jen can stay in her corner and she will stay in hers. Jackie, unhappy that a fight didn't occur, in my opinion, says that she respects that, but it's her Ponderosa and she wants them to move forward. Malaysia says when she's going through something, she doesn't add people in because she doesn't want pity. She likes to go in her own corner to lick her wounds and come back mighty. If the other ladies want to share all their business, that's fine. That's on them. Jen says they're all vulnerable about what they go through in this group, and Malaysia just sits there quietly as a church mouse. But Malaysia says she will share with who she wants to share with, and that is that. Truly, I can respect that. I can respect that. I don't think you have to be, I don't think you have to tell your business to everybody. I don't. I, in fact, discourage it. Now, what's impressive is that Malaysia has managed to be on reality TV for so many years while also being very, very private, because she shares just enough. She has found that nice little line of sharing just enough, but not too much that you can come for her entire life. You know what I mean? It's impressive. She hasn't really had to be that vulnerable. She's had vulnerable moments, don't get me wrong, over the years, but she hasn't really had to go there every time. British says that Jen said Malaysia was dead to her, and Malaysia says, there you go, you killed me and I have 3 kids, thank you. Was that necessary? Jen then awards her an Emmy in her confessional. Duffey is like, y'all were friends. I don't normally say y'all. I really don't like it when British people say y'all, but I'm quoting Duffey. Duffey is like, y'all were friends at one point, and Malaysia says, yeah, until she tried to play me. So of course, British now wants the tea, especially after Jen replies, you played yourself. It's not just British. We all want the tea. What are you guys talking about? What happened? How did she play you, Malaysia? And how did she play herself, Jen? What's tea? The ladies say they will never, ever, 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 ever work it out. And Jen drops the foreclosure bomb. Jackie says this will be the first Ponderosa that Jackie Christie had that didn't work out. And that, frustratingly, was the end of the episode. So, ratings. I can't believe that I'm going to say this, but I'm giving this another 10 out of 10. Yes, I am. It is a 10 out of 10 from me. 10 out of 10. I couldn't fault it. I tried. I went over my notes again. I watched certain scenes again. It's a 10. It's a 10. Jackie Christie is producing 10s out here, people. 10 out of 10. We had Brooke seeking counsel from her dad and the revelation that she was a love child. And we got to follow her as she begins the journey of removing the tattoos of her husband's initial and married name and filing for divorce. Malaysia and Duffey seem to be building a good friendship, and I'm very interested to see where it goes. Jen brought up the foreclosure rumours about Malaysia to British. Jackie Marie Christie producing just A1 content. It has truly been stellar programming. So the Ponderosa was every bit of hot mess that I expected it to be, and she even managed to force Jen to spill the tea about the foreclosure at the table right at the end. So obviously we're tuning in next week, yes? The cutscenes at the end also show that there may be some trouble in the paradise that is Brandy and Duffey's friendship, some more legal trouble for British, and Malaysia might be leaving the group. I cannot wait till next week's episode. So, I gave it a 10 out of 10. I want to know what you gave it a 10 out of 10. I'm already telling you that you gave it a 10 apparently. I want to know your thoughts, your comments, your feedback, all that in the comments down below or on social media or both. Tell me, I'm curious. But for now, I'll see you next time. Bye.